of your Fridays and have a great weekend. Just a final note, I am almost at 2,200 subscribers. So if you could leave me a subscribe on YouTube, that would mean the world to me. So guys, have a great one. See you later. Thanks for having me as always. I'll see you next week, hopefully.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to today's A1 trading session. We love engaging with our audience, talking shop, taking requests, and sharing our favorite setups. It's about that time where we're going to review a bunch of indexes, stocks, currencies, gold, silver, Bitcoin, and pretty much anything else and share our insights. If you're wondering what trades I'm in, if you're wondering what trades I'm taking, and you'd like to see exactly how I'm trading everything, you can actually follow my trading signals. If that sounds like something you're interested in, we'll share a link in the chat. You can sign up. You can sign up directly with the link or speak to a support rep if you have any questions. If you're asking, what do I trade? Pretty much everything. Indexes, ETFs, stocks, options, futures, Forex, and crypto. Thoughtful analysis, active trading. Check it out. And now, back to the show. What's happening, everybody? Happy Friday. How is everybody doing? Good to see y'all. We are looking at a bit of a run. 608.77 on the upside. Filled the gap successfully from Friday's close to Monday. We have officially pushed green, but on probably thin margin to close and stay green for the week. So this is where we closed Friday. This is where we opened Monday. The market is officially up above that to give me a green candle for the week. So quite the battle back. I'm curious if we are trying to maintain this or if price is like, okay, we filled the gap and then does the market fall? I don't think so. I mean, we've got pretty decent earnings coming in. Apple had positive earnings. Some of the stocks were back and forth. I mean, I'm going to take a couple small losses here, like Tesla is at 413. It's right in the middle. It's no good. I need it to be above like 420 or down below like 370. It was neither. So I'm taking a small loss on Tesla. I have another trade out to next week if there's more volatility. Meta took a small profit on this one when we were above the 702.50 mark. I got a small win on this one, but better than nothing. And then Microsoft is going to be a full win with that broken butterfly above 470. Never threatened, no profit trap. Just grabbing the 24, like 23, 24 cents credit per contract. And then ended up having a trade. Caterpillar is pushing lower. I just took a debit spread in this one. It hit my liquidity level like within 30 to 40 cents. The problem was because we had earnings, I didn't get the credit that I wanted. So I was up like 30 cents a contract on the trade, and then earnings hit and it made it a small loss. So fine. Apple had positive earnings, but you can see that Apple is quickly fading. Interesting. I didn't have an Apple trade on. I looked at Intel as well. Intel, up like nothing. I mean, it was up like to 20.33, 20.32, just staying where it is. So I posted this information yesterday. You saw this in the, if you look in the Pulver alerts in the Discord section for the Trading Journal, non-Mag 7 earnings. So pretty big expectations for this year to see non-Mag 7 earnings do better than before. I mean, Mag 7 is still probably going to be pretty strong, pretty solid, pretty stable, but we see profit margins forecasted for 2025 that are expected to be really, really perfect. And if we actually hit that profit margin for 2025, it's the highest annual net profit margin since 2021, which is right before we went into a bear market, and as high as it was back in 2007, 2008. So again, I mean, a lot of things across the board in the markets are at like the 99th percentile and even like 100th percentile, meaning, consumer optimism, price to earnings, CAPE ratios, everything that shows how the stock market is valued, they're all really, really high valued. That doesn't mean that they can't go higher. Okay. But it does mean there's likely going to be an underperformance if you take these valuations and go out 2, 3, 4, 5 years. There's typically an underperformance. Okay, because we're so high valued, it's hard to rationalize or justify how they can go higher. So that being said, any higher highs in the markets from the index side, I mean, sitting here at all-time highs, I'm a little skeptical. Doesn't mean I'm calling the top, obviously, but I would say even in this last little bit, okay, take this move from Monday's open Okay, we had that crazy gap lower from DeepSeek / Bank of Japan. If this technical trend line breaks, then I think we would turn the corner, maybe have a little bit more volatility to the downside, right? But if we zoom out for a second, just take a look here. So technically speaking, highs, we poked the highs, had the big drop on Sunday to Monday. Is it possible that this market still breaks the highs once again, but we have another, some type of correction? Do we just wait and see if it turns the corner? The hardest part is like calling the top. That's the hardest part. A lot of my hedges that I have are out to March 31st. So get me through this month. Today is technically end of the month as well. So we kick off a new week with more earnings. Next week, I think there's 800 plus companies reporting earnings next week. I have a chart alarm set on the SPY at 610 to see if we get there today. Let me keep a close eye on that one right now, actually. I'm just going to see what it's trading for. SPY for should have been a expiration for today. There's my 609, 611. Right now, we're trading at 80 cents. Okay. So what did I get into the trade for? 609, 611. Pretty cheap trade. So $1.14 minus 71. Got into the trade for 43 cents. Can we get up to $1 plus today? Maybe. So this recent high is 610.79. That's going to be close. I think if we hit this high, got a chart alarm set at 610. If we hit this recent high at 610.81, that should be about $1.80, about $1.80 of credit on the upside. And I'm risking down here like $1.25. So if I can pull in $1.80, close out for $1.25, that'd be a loss. That'd be a win. I'd walk away net positive on the trade. So I'm just keeping a close eye on that one for this morning. We could have some market maker levels drifting higher. Directionally, we could be pushing into this like 6140, 6150 zone in SPX. SPY, same type of thing. A little bit more defense around that 610 handle. So I don't think we're necessarily going to like 614, 615 today. But 610 could be at least a run. So I'm going to keep that chart alarm set at 610. Keep an eye on this trade right here to close. Can I get a trade at this like dollar? Let's see. I'm going to try to put it for like $1.75. I'll keep an eye on that one. All right, close out for a couple of winners. All right, I'll keep an eye on that one this morning. Let's go back to just the charts here. So is this making sense as far as just watching technicals? I think this market, if it breaks that little trend line, I could see us poking the highs, not really having a bunch of momentum, coming back down, coming back up, coming back down. I mean, unless we're making like really big strides on inflation, which we're not, everything that came out today for the inflation readings on PCE, it was as expected, right? So here's your 8:30 news. And let's go to PCE. So year over year was forecasted 2.6, came in 2.6. Previous was 2.4. So that's higher PCE, right? Higher year over year, but came in as expected. So the market, I mean, there wasn't a big reaction to it today. There was a huge reaction to CPI, which we tend to see more of a large reaction on CPI versus PPI. And then by the end of the month, it's like nobody cares. PCE, okay, it's just one of the things, even though it's like the most important gauge that the Fed is using. So we're told. Higher than previous print. Okay, but at forecast, fine. Month over month, exactly as forecast. Month over month personal income, exactly as forecast. Personal spending, higher. Where's my other year over years? Where'd my core PCE go? There it is. Core PCE. Forecasted 0.2, came in 0.2. Previous print was 0.1. Core PCE year over year, Forecasted 2.8, came in 2.8, previous is 2.8. So it's not bad, but it's not great. It's not improving. So on top of that, if we look at the 10-year yield, that's still sitting at 4.5. I think that 4.5 to 5%. I'll make a note here. If we have the US 10-year, okay, if we have the US 10-year 4.5% to 5% window, that's growth resistance. Okay, or resistance. If we have US 10-year moving lower, okay, better for bonds and borrowing. US 10-year higher and greater than 5%, watch out. That would probably be the biggest risk-off tone that I think the market would take, is if we see the US 10-year heading up to that 5% handle, and possibly going higher, because the bond market's doing the exact opposite of what the Fed has done since they cut rates in September. So this is an important spot to watch. Currency strength-wise today, we have Aussie and New Zealand on top. We got the dollar Swiss that were stronger this morning, came back to baseline. Japanese yen, classic Japanese yen, all over the place. Crazy strong yesterday and very weak today. Not a lot on the volatility side, though. I mean, this was a very volatile Japanese yen yesterday, getting up towards, you had like, what is that, CAD yen? So Bank of Canada cut rates again. I think that's potentially noisy. I'll take a look at the dollar CAD in a moment. But I mean, that's a big swing, right? That's a 170 pip swing on CAD yen to the downside. And then today we got Aussie, New Zealand on top, JPY coming back to baseline. We're just getting like a slow freaking grind today, aren't we? All right. I am watching. Chart alarm set at 610. I think that directionally could be hit. All right. So markets trying to get back to all-time highs again. Question is, are they going to get to all-time highs and keep staying into open space? The market would be happy to see, okay, there's one all-time high for the year. If we get a second all-time high for the year, what happens after that, right? This was the first all-time high of 2025, and then we had a just silly little overreaction. And here we are back up towards the all-time highs. Do we hit another one and keep going, right? Just slow, but it gets up there to higher highs? Or does this structure end up breaking? Do we just eke out these slightly higher highs and then work our way back down? I don't think we're necessarily taking out the lows yet, but I'm looking to see. I mean, I'm trying to stay out of the way. A lot of trades I have in are looking for this to be kind of a trade window, where as long as price doesn't go above like 60-20 or 60-30, or doesn't get back down below like 50, I see 570 or 560, then I can pull in some profit. But volatility is down today, so we've got 1 day is way down, VIX 30 days down, SVXY. Change this back. I'll go switch charts. SPY to 609.32. All right, we're getting a little pop. Okay, looks like my market maker 610 is coming in. Okay, if we hit 610, that's another 70 cents. Could I see another 50, 60, 70 cents of this trade? I hope I can. Keep an eye on this one. Might as well cheer it on now. See what we can get out of it. All right. So market's trying. It's trying hard. It's, I'd say, tough to justify like highs with a bunch of momentum, but we're clearly not getting a bunch of bearish price action outside of that shakeout we had in December. There's still a lot of uncertainty out there, but I don't know if this market like blows the top off and gets bubbly, or we just have this like real struggly like 1 or 2% swing where it's just trying to eke out highs, but it just can't justify the momentum. Earnings season that's coming in. We had Mag 7 this week. And we'll have more next week. Google's a big one for next week. Google sitting near all-time highs. Take a look at Nasdaq. Okay, can the Qs hit all-time highs? We'll find out. The Dow is just off the all-time highs. I think this is a spot here. Again, I don't know if I should be shorting that, but I kind of want to look at a trade right now just to see. So Dow, and I could look at Dow futures, but I think I'll just do DIA. Let me go out 49 days. Not a bad spot. How much higher could I go if I looked at a bull call spread? Deltas go down in a hurry, 5 wide. I'm probably not going to get enough premium for this. We're trading at 450. Expect to move is around $14. Could I do a 1? So 1, 1, 1. That's a horrible trade. No, that's a silly trade. I probably have to do it on Dow futures, which that's way more risk. So I'm not going to do that. We're at 609.50. All right, Spy, what you got? What you got today? 609.50. I'm watching this trade pretty closely, so I'm going to keep spot checking this thing. Now my 40-cent debit is trading for about $1. Trying to get a little bit more out of it. My max profit's $2. So if we hit 610, that's what I'm watching for. Possibly some levels into, I mean, there's open space above 610. If we can crack 610, we might be able to drift up into the 614, 615 zone, but I'm not planning on that big push today. But we'll see. That would be the previous all-time high was 610.78. Previous all-time high 610.78. All right, so Dow, I was looking at a potential trade. I just don't think the premium is that great. Let me see if I can do anything on the actual. Let's go Dow futures. Got all S&P. Go Dow. Gosh darn it. What's my futures feed? MY. All right, so we got Russell. There's my S&P. Where the heck's my Dow at, man? There we go. And no options. Never mind. All right, and how about Russell? 0.43. Russell growth back up near all-time highs. Russell top 200 value has ripped off of that 200 moving average. I wish I picked up that trade, but I did not. It is up off the lows. Not a bad little mover. Up around 7%. Okay, there's your Russell futures. Volatility, like I said, 30 days and 1 day is down. See if we get a bit more of a melt up. I'd have to wait for a big nasty fall to buy some SVXY. Dollar index, if this is still going to continue to decline slightly. So if we're making lower highs and lower lows on the smaller time frames, I still think the dollar is very well supported at that 106, 105.50 zone. I'm not doing anything on dollar pairs right now. The only exposure I have is Aussie dollar long, New Zealand dollar long, dollar CAD, dollar Swiss. I closed out for profit. Oil, hopefully oil just kind of hangs out in the middle. There's my CL trade, and I'm looking for a 50% take profit. Natural gas is just getting its butt kicked again. I at least have until 2027, but I'm curious what my sell side looks like. Let me go into UNG for a second. Okay, so there's my 609, 610, or 609, 611. Let me look at UNG for a second. UNG, the 5x23, right now that 23 call is already around 75% profit. If I see this trading around 90+% profit, then I'll probably just close it and reapply the position. And I could probably do this well before the April expiration. So I'll keep an eye on that one. Uber, we have earnings on Uber next week. I have I've got 2 naked puts on this one. It's up $100. Still have some time because of earnings. Let's see what Uber looks like. Uber. I mean, I jumped on board because we had a decent sell-off from like the 86 highs down to 60. And this isn't a stock that I would mind owning. I don't mind it. So there's the 60 by 57.50 puts. Collected $300 on the trade, 314 per the 2 contracts. And if I'm willing to own it, it'd be 57. So the price would have to drop $10 for me to have any type of ownership. But I would be willing to own it and repair the trade. I mean, it's a pretty high premium stock. If we're dropping, especially, I would imagine Q4 earnings would be pretty decent. Okay, gold. We talked about gold pretty much all week. Are we going to all-time highs? Yes, we're at all-time highs. Do we have a bunch of momentum to the upside? We will find out. I'm not buying the all-time highs, but I'm looking to see if right now, if we have a fake out trade on gold, then maybe we come back. If anyone saw the overreaction yesterday, did anyone see that like 3:30 p.m., 3:35 p.m.? It was like a quick announcement, or a headline flash that Trump is doing like 25% tariffs on Canada, Mexico. And the market reacted like really unfavorably for 5 or 10 minutes, and then it came back up towards the close, and then futures overnight got it right back to the highs. Here we are looking at higher highs this morning. So just noise. But does something happen over the weekend? I don't know. Anyway, gold, if we end up making like a decent little drift to the upside, then I would watch for that to become resistance. So that's resistance. If it pulls back and becomes support, then I could look at maybe establishing some more positions on gold. Right? Like the hardest way for me to trade gold right now would be if this thing just goes up and then pauses and goes up and pauses. That's my least favorite way to trade it. But if we have a pullback or a pullback, like I will buy some dips. Otherwise, I just hang out of my GLD and my credit spreads and option trades and the shares, and off we go. Silver had a pretty good week. Overall, silver, decently bullish. If we go to XAU, XAG to compare, look at the weekly candle. So silver outperformed gold this week, which was kind of nice. I wouldn't mind seeing the silver outperform even further and trying to pull back into like the halfway point of this range, or even outperforming to the degree of, look, gold can go higher, but silver can go higher faster. And maybe this chart is still range bound. Okay. But I still like my silver and my gold. Let's go Bitcoin, hanging out at 105. I mean, kind of a quiet week on Bitcoin, to be honest. Weekly candle outside of that little fake out on Monday. We had a low on Bitcoin around 97,750 and currently trading around 105.6. But previous all-time highs were last week when we poked all the way up towards like 109. I mean, there's what looks to be some pretty decent resiliency. Again, I'm a little skeptical of buying all-time highs. So do we, revisit highs? Is it a fake out? Is it a range here, like in intermediate range, or is it a bigger range? So maybe the 109 handle is resistance and this like 92 handle is support. So R for resistance, S for support. I'm just going to wait and see. If it breaks and goes higher, I have exposure in Bitcoin, benefits to the upside. If it pulls back, I'll look to add more trades. Okay. All right. Exposure. See that trade that I have there, 30 by 15. All right, that's fine for a collar trade. IBIT. Collar trade's a 67 by 40. We're trading at $60 right now. That's out to March. MSTR still hanging out above 310, which is the level I need. We have earnings on MicroStrategy, I think, next week. Yep, next week, MicroStrategy earnings. That's going to be interesting and probably volatile. Coinbase still hanging in there with some resiliency. Copper, I'm going to stay out of copper until we hit a chart line, maybe around the 405 handle. Japanese yen futures, I'm long out to September. Nikkei still just so much chop and noise there. FXY, another ETF. I am long EWJ and EWZ for Japan and Brazil. DAX made a fresh high today, fading slightly, but one of the crazier moves that's actually outperforming the U.S. markets right now. FTSE, the UK coming in big with a big day yesterday. Argentina still waiting for a better pullback. There's my Brazil trade. I'm going to put this. That's fine. Brazil's looking pretty good. Apple gapped up towards 246 and fading. I didn't trade the earnings itself. I do have some ratio spreads down here at the 210 and 195. Amazon still hanging out around all-time highs. Google has earnings next week. We're sitting at all-time highs. Earnings next week on Google. Price to perfection. Yeah, I hope, I don't know. I don't want to wish anything bad on Google, but I would hope we have a dip or a pullback versus a blowout top. If we blow that top, do we fade? I mean, Google's a great price compared to Meta at $700, compared to Microsoft at $416. Netflix is, I mean, it hit $1,000 during earnings. Apple's slightly more expensive as well. I mean, I think Google still has a lot of potential. I've got a lot of income trades down here, but I'm just going to wait. I mean, if this wants to run to fresh all-time highs, okay, fine, but I don't like it. Like, I'm not buying these highs. Meta, I need a price to get above 702. It did. It's a 702.77. I closed out for a small win on earnings, like I said. Microsoft, that's going to be a winner today. So we've got some winners on SPX. We got winners on SPY, QQQ. I took some profit this week on Chewy as well. I let go of some shares. I had 200 shares since like the teens. I closed it out for price around $37. So that was a nice little winner. I'm letting go of it, getting some buying power back. Here's Netflix. I do have a broken wing butterfly in this one. I'm not sure what the expiration is. Let me take a look at it. So let's go to Netflix. There's my broken wing. Right now it's upside down slightly. Yeah, trading for about $1.25, $1.28, whatever, $1.30. My max profit is, so price would have to be above 1050. 1050 is my break-even point. If we're at 1060, I take on $1,000 of risk. It's about $900 of risk. But I do have a profit trap here. Let me see the expected move. So 1030 to 1060. Let me look at the options chain. Okay, so right now, just outside the expected move. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, profit trap is fine. Let me see if I can do analysis on this one. 1, 2, 3. So there's what the trade looks like. If I can zoom in. There. It's real sensitive. There we go. Okay, so here's the trade. Here's Netflix price. So I collected my dollar credit. That's this whole thing. This whole thing is a dollar credit. All right. I do have a profit trap that's offering about $1,100 of profit. If we are greater than 1060, then I'm taking on about $900 of risk. If we're at 1050, that's break even. So I mean, I have some wiggle room here. And being about a 20 delta post earnings, I mean, unless the market's going to be melting up higher, I mean, sure, Netflix can go higher too. But I'm taking a chance on the trade. Premiums were good. I mean, if I just get the income out of the $100 credit, that's fine. A profit trap would be pretty awesome. This expiration is not super far out. I went out to the end of February. So historically speaking, by the way, let me see in Edge Finder, do we have seasonality for February? I think we do. Today is the end of the month. So let's go seasonality, month of year on the S&P. So 10-year average, interesting. So this shows that January and February and March, April, But January came out with a pretty decent rip. April pullbacks. Okay. I mean, I could see, I don't know. I mean, anything could happen, right? Yeah, 2025 is going to be a wild year. I feel like you take the first half of the year compared to the second half of the year. Everyone was super optimistic. The market kind of threw around some tariff uncertainty. It's a lot of threats. We'll see if there's follow through or not. Nvidia back up to 126 and change. I'm looking for a gap fill here for the next maybe 30 to 60 days. Tesla, can we get up to a high? Tesla, I've got a 5 by 427.50. We're about to find out. Probably not right now, but can Tesla make a big old run today? Set a chart alarm around that 427.50. Okay, if that gets poked today, then I'm going to grab some profit out of a Tesla earnings trade for this week and next week. But this is the trade. So it was a 360 by 357.50 on the put side, and then the 425, 427.50 on the call side. That total debit was, I want to say the total debit was like $1.50, maybe $1.60. Look at the trade alerts. So stocks, Tesla, where's it at? IBM, that trade never filled. Microsoft, that's a broken wing butterfly for profit. Meta took a small win. Tesla traded for $1.08. I mean, I don't have to do anything. I could reduce the risk and take a small, like 70-cent loss. If somehow Tesla can get up today, I don't know if it's going to or not. Tesla from 401 to 4, it's already up 415, 416. It's up like $15 on the day. I don't know. I mean, it's like, do I save myself the 70 cents of risk, or do I give the stock a chance to work today and maybe get me a profit? I mean, so I can save, like I said, about 70 cents of risk. But if the market can get up to 425, 475, it was an out of the money call spread that even if this trades for, back up towards like a dollar, it's much smaller loss. So I'm willing to kind of risk the 30 cents and see, maybe Tesla has till the end of the day a little melt up. If it does, hooray, I'll turn it into a profit. Max profit would be 250, but we'd have to have a pretty big move to do that. All right, so I'll keep an eye on that one, but I've got a chart alarm set at 427.50. Let's see if we get there by today. Berkshire Hathaway kind of nailed that ratio spread. Good timing wise. This is probably going to be close to full profit soon. SHY, fine. So bonds are going up a little bit. 10-year down slightly. You got to wonder if we're having low, higher low, higher low. I mean, if this thing turns the corner and heads back up again, that's probably not a good sign. If this thing comes down, then I would have a much easier case to justify that the market can get to all-time highs and still continue to push slightly higher. So it is something to watch. We keep talking about this. Lee says, if tariffs are put on Canada, Mexico, both impose retaliatory tariffs, how and when does it end? Your question is a great question. I have no idea. I mean, look, tariffs across the board are going to affect the consumer and be inflationary. So if it's, retaliation back and forth with, trade allies, who knows what it ends? I don't know. So I would say just it's another thing that just spikes the uncertainty meter, and we got to watch price. I mean, but I'm not going to make a forecast and trade, some macro theme and say, well, tariffs are coming, so this is what I'm going to do. It's like I'm not doing anything unless the market actually shows price action to support that. Tariffs are something that's breaking price down, or inflation is in fact like pushing higher. So, I mean, the Fed right now to basically take no action until maybe June of this year. That's a lot of CPI news coming in every month. That's a lot of time for like shelter prices to come back down. That's a lot of time for the real estate market to still remain at a pause. You know, if we keep seeing all this inflation or the tariff news, then we'll get more clarity out of who's playing ball and who's not, or just making a bunch of threats. So I don't know how it's going to play out, but going to watch price, try to find out. Okay, so there's 10-year, I think, which is super important. We got our futures feeds here. So bonds moving back up a little bit. Aussie futures, Euro futures, pound futures, palladium. Not a bad spot off of some recent lows. Platinum, not a bad spot off of some recent lows. Should be corn. I talked. I mean, I can trade corn with Tasty's platform. I talked about corn with a potential pullback. So if we go kind of a crown pattern here, if corn can pull back, I'd love to see like a head and shoulders or a crown pattern that I could trade long. I was looking for corn futures originally to get down into a way more attractive support zone, but we turned pretty hard. It's not a surprise. Like a lot of this future stuff pivoted right around the Fed, like August, September. A lot of stuff pivoted. So I mean that's a big move from low to high. Soybeans, kind of similar, where we have some support coming back to the 200 moving average. There's a lot of support back into the 2019, 2020 level. I don't think we necessarily have like that type of soybean move, but hey, coffee did it, cocoa did it, live cattle. I mean, we've had a lot of high future prices. Wheat, still a little bit beat up, but you never know. Cocoa, back up towards those crazy highs. If I'm going to play commodities, this is a broad-based commodity ETF, FTGC, DBC. Those are pretty easy to trade. Spreads are still pretty tight, though. This is your AAA, triple B, triple C, treasuries and yields. So I mean, spreads are still seemingly pretty tight. China. All right, so we're down slightly. Here's Alibaba. Had a heck of a run for the week. I mean, look at the weekly candle. That's a big candle. Probably one of the larger candles we've seen single direction since September, and then again since January 2023. So is there some momentum behind this? Well, I'd certainly like to think so. I hope so. I'm long for that reason, but we'll find out. FXI, decent move this week. K-Web also decent move this week. JD hanging above 40 bucks. I think I did a roll on JD this week. Let me find out here. JD. So I've got the shares, 39 by 30. Do I want to roll this or do I want to repair this? That is the question. Let me see. Earnings into March. I think I'm doing this to get it. The plan is I'm trying to get it called away before earnings. But I think earnings could be fine. I just have to have either the courage to stick with it through earnings. Let me see if I get anything for a roll. So if I roll this out by a week, keep the strikes the exact same. Let me see what this looks like. I rolled out by a month. If I roll this out by a month, I get another $1. That's another $500 of profit if it just stays where it is. If I can roll this up, I still get credit and increase my profit target. So I could roll this up to $40 out by another 21 days. So that gives me another $500 and 51. I guess it'd be $550 per contract, or per share rather. Contract. So I've got. I'm trying to think. If I get another 5.51 on top of a break even right now, this could turn into be a pretty good trade. JD 35.92 is my break even. So 35.92 minus 51, get it called away at 40. Make 22.95. I mean, this initially started at like a $500 repair, and I could potentially make 22.95. I got this in on three accounts, so just shy of $7,000. It's not a bad repair if you ask me. Also, there's protection. I mean, the $30 put would be at 25 cents. I'm giving myself enough time to go through earnings into that first part of March, and if this 25 cent debit becomes higher, I can also work the cost basis lower. But if JD has good earnings, and we can stay above this through March, I think this is worth taking. So I am going to roll the 30 by 39 collar trade. I'm going to roll this and go out to the expiration, the monthly expiration for March, and roll this up to 40 bucks and keep the $30 put. Try to get 55 cents. Okay, not filling, replace. Let me try to get a couple, just a few cents lower maybe. 54. 53. I did do a roll yesterday on Baidu like I talked about. Try to just penny this down and see where I'm going to fill that. 52. I mean, come on, bro. 51. What's the dealio? 50. I mean, I'm 5 cents below the mid price. All right. That's annoying. Okay, let's try this again. 40. I'm going to go 45 cents. Come on. Really? That's way lower. I'll go 10 cents lower than the mid price. Unbelievable. All right, well, that's going to get canceled. I'll look at that later. That's crazy. I can't get that thing to roll for a better fill. Right now, I mean, it gets called away right now. It's fine. If I get it called away, I don't have to do anything. This is right before earnings. 35.92. Get it called away at 39. I make that on 500 shares. There's a big difference, right? I mean, I'd much rather make $2,200 per account versus $1,540 per account. Just a matter of a roll. So anyway, let me look at that later. Schwab dividend, Schwab growth. Schwab growth is doing pretty well. I have some exposure on that. Put that across the board. SCHG right there. Up 1,800 bucks. Okay, I'm going to do a quick spot check on my SPY. SPY right now is trading for just over $1. 609.68. 610 is my big liquidity level. Come on, let's tap something. Tap something. All right, I'll keep an eye on that one. Chart alarm is set at 610, so hopefully we can hit it with a bit more momentum. 610.70. What's the high in the SPY? 610.76 is the all-time high. So let me set a chart alarm right there. And we'll see if we can get back to all-time highs after a little Sunday to Monday fake out. All right, all right. Let's get back down to our stocks here. Costco just freaking tearing today. Earnings are coming up next week. Again, a lot of these stocks, price to perfection. Walmart, 98. I did a roll. What did I do yesterday on Walmart? I think I rolled these up. I did quite a bit of work yesterday at 3 p.m. for my final hour session on Walmart. I think I rolled it up to 100 and something, or I just got more premium. Let me find out. So Walmart, I went to a 105 by 80, a 110 by 85, a 105. Yeah, so I rolled my strikes up. So now my new collar, I've got a break even around 90. Let's see, where's my break even? New collar, 105. The heck, dude. Oh yeah, I basically just rolled it up. So from 100 to 80, now to 105.76.67. So I need to add that in. It was basically like a free. So the break even is about the same still. So 90.88, it's going to be 90.80. rolled to 620 expiration, 105 by 76 collar, and 90.80 is now the break even there. So if it gets called away, it gets called away $5 higher. Sitting here at all-time highs on Walmart. Nike looking better. I've got some naked puts on that one. Home Depot and Lowe's, maybe some earnings plays. MasterCard, big fat rip to the upside. Everyone loves a credit card. So MasterCard at all-time highs. Visa at all-time highs. Amex, just off all-time highs pre-earnings. Johnson & Johnson looking way better. 140 puts look good. Progressive looking good. CB looking good. Palantir. Earnings next week. I might not even have to play this. This could be just sitting in profit before we even get to earnings. Palantir has earnings on, I believe, Monday. Monday after market. That'll be a notable one for next week. That's why I got into the trade. I'm like, well, if we carry this over Monday earnings. All right, and then we have our sectors. So get some currencies, and then I'll wrap it up for today. Okay, so Aussie CAD, I'm still hanging in there long. Swiss crosses, I'm still long, except for dollar Swiss, I'm out of that one. Yen pairs, I'm not doing anything. Yen pairs, I'm waiting. I had mentioned, is anyone asking me about yen crosses? I just said watch the range. We've got horizontal levels here, horizontal levels here. I can see range trading on the Aussie yen. Lots of levels here just to go back and forth. And look, you'll have to just survive it. If you want to trade the yen, you got to survive it. I wouldn't be sitting here holding shorts. That would be super expensive. So I don't like that trade at all. I mean, the best barometer for the yen is when does the Bank of Japan speak up and break something, and all of a sudden the market reacts to it, and there's a good trade on the yen. But I don't know when the heck that is. Is it possible that this is some type of head and shoulders trade? Maybe, or it could just be a big fat fake out, like high to low. We have a low, we have a low. If price doesn't really break that low, there's no follow through. This could be a perfect bear trap, and this thing just comes right back up. So I'm just staying out of the yens. Okay, Aussie New Zealand. I'm long towards this recent high. Aussie dollar, I'm still long right now. Seeing if the dollar will get a little bit weaker. If so, I'll look at anything above like 63.50 or 64 to take some profit on that one. CAD Swiss, lots of levels to buy. I buy that level, buy the flash crash low. If I buy here and buy here, this is going to be my first profit target, which is right at the center high. But I'm looking at this pocket as well. I think eventually we do put in a strong enough bottoming pattern where this CAD Swiss becomes an awesome trade. I've already measured this one. If this retests the lows, low, low, center high, I would double that move. I think this has potential to get all the way up towards like 67 or 6,800. Okay, I'm going to see if the SPY today can get up to 610, and we can poke those all-time highs at 610.78. If that is the case, I should be able to grab some profit out of that bull call spread. CAD Swiss is fine. CAD yen, Swiss yen. Swiss yen, I still have a trade on Swiss yen. It's up a few pips, nothing crazy. Euro Aussie, I haven't looked at these in a bit. Euro Aussie, Euro CAD, Pound Aussie, Pound CAD. Maybe a range trade. I'm not doing anything on them right now. Some resistance there, some support there. A lot of grinding in there, but I'm probably not taking the trade. I would watch to see if we get a price pattern at resistance. Euro CAD has been messy. Yeah, I'm not touching that one. Euro Swiss, I'm long. I've got a bunch of stacked orders on this one. I like this trade a lot. Euro Pound, ended up taking some profit. I didn't take profit. Oh, you son of a bee. What was my profit target? Oh, son, I had an 85 profit target. You turd. Well, I guess, fudge, man. Euro to pound. I don't want to close this thing out. I'm going to keep it, though. I'm going to keep this trade running. If we take out this high, maybe this is a bit of a swing trade, and I'll look to take my profit slightly higher. I wanted this trade. It was right there at 85 was my take profit. Shoot. Actually, I'm going to close this out. I'm taking a small win. on the euro pound. So bought it over here, closing it out now, just taking a small win. Yeah, whatever. Because if it just and I could buy it again. I mean, if it pulls back down, into the same lows again, I'll probably buy it and try to get a slightly lower high, something like that. But I'm just going to take the small one on euro pound right now. Euro New Zealand, same thing. A lot of range bound trading. Watch the breakout. Put a box on this. Put a box right there. If we break and go lower. So do we break and go lower? Do we break and go higher? Not much to trade there in the middle. Euro dollar. So we pulled back to 105 handle. I do think that 105, 106 is still resistance. So if the dollar gets weaker, then sure, this could come back up into that 105, 106 handle. I can see a lot of resistance still hanging out there. I would wait for a trend line break. If we're going to resume a dollar trend, that's dollar strength. I look for euro dollar to then break and sell back off. So again, I just think it's noise. I think there's a lot of noise in the currency market. I think there's a lot of noise on the dollar index. And we're just going to see if we have some drift in the equities market, which right now today, 605 closed yesterday, gapping up and pushing and drifting higher. Just let it do its thing. Pound pairs, pound Aussie, chop. Pound CAD, chop. Pound Swiss, still long. Still in a range though. Pound yen, wouldn't even touch it. Pound New Zealand. I like this one back into, if we have trying to think, like back into these moving averages. So if we push a little bit lower, I would like to scoop up some pound New Zealand, at least from a daily perspective, like really good trend overall, right? Nice channel, but I want to see a deeper pullback. Otherwise, not touching it. Pound dollar. Again, similar to the euro dollar. I mean, the pound dollar broke a pretty solid trend line. Let me zoom out a little bit. I mean, that's a pretty decent trend line to break. So if this is a little bit of a pullback in here, I could see this area, backside of the trend line becoming resistance, and then wait for a break. If it breaks, stop loss above the swing, and then see if we hit fresh lows. Why would that be the case? If dollar gets stronger, Bank of England starts cutting rates, Fed's still pausing. That's all. Okay. But I mean, right, I don't like to trade. Not right now. If this gets back up to like 2,600, I'd say between 26 and 2,800, that to me is looking for a resistance zone. If we hit that resistance, then confirm, I would be willing to take a swing trade and then go after that low or lower. But 120 is to me like a pretty good target. Pretty good target. Okay, do a quick spot check on the SPY. So 110. I mean, can we break this level? Market makers can step in right around that 610 handle. I can see that pretty clearly, but there's not a lot stopping this market today. So all-time high sitting at 610.70. I'm going to see if I can get this thing to drift a little bit higher. I mean, what's another dollar, right? From 605. I mean, can we get a $6 move today? Yeah, let's go. Let's go 611. Okay, I've got to take profit set at 175. I'll keep an eye on that one today. Come on. All right, anything else? New Zealand CAD. I'm still long in this one. I got a lot of levels on New Zealand CAD, just trying to get back to this recent high 86. I like that trade a lot, actually. New Zealand Swiss, I'm still holding long. New Zealand yen, nothing. New Zealand dollar, I'm still holding long with small positions. Dollar CAD, we had a big reaction yesterday. Like I said, that could be a bit of a manipulation play. Just be careful on that dollar CAD. I took the trades long, took my profit. Now I'm waiting to see, do we break this low? So if that was a little spike out on the BOC news yesterday, do we end up coming back down to breach this low and then having a sell-off trade? Does this help with oil? I don't know. I think oil's still going to be range bound between $67 and $80 or 85, whatever that recent holiday high was. But anyway, I'm not doing anything on dollar CAD. I'm out. I'm happy. If it goes higher, then maybe it's additional trend trading. We break and go higher. bounce there and then higher highs. Just try to keep the stop loss out of the way. But I'm curious how this area gets manipulated. There's a lot of chop going on right there. Yep. And we'll see what the market does next week. I mean, if tariffs are going to affect tomorrow, what's Monday's open? I don't know. Does it affect the CAD? Does it affect the Mexican peso? I mean, I haven't looked at the peso in a second, but I mean, even the news yesterday didn't really look like, oh man, the peso. It's just, look, it's still dollar strong. I mean, that's a big comeback trade. That's 35,000 pips or something ridiculous like that. 40,000 pips on the peso since our low last year. I mean, super volatile, but I don't really have a trade. I mean, the last time I traded the peso, in all honesty, was like the Trump trade in 2020. That was a COVID trade, and then the 2020 or the 2016 election. I think this was enough of a shakeout for me to see, like, I was long the peso, or I'm sorry, long the dollar, and that trade during the Trump election went absolutely bananas, and then we came all the way back down. So I thought that was, when I saw like 20,000 pips in a day when the average is like 3,000 pips, I'm like, okay, that's a little bit more than like, oh wow, we had a 100 pip day on average, and now it's 150 to 200 pips. That would be like taking a 100 pip trading range and going up like to 1,000 pips in a day. It's crazy. So that just made me realize, like, this exotic currency stuff can be really, really risky. So I haven't traded them pretty much since 2016. All right. That being said, let's wrap it up there for the day. Happy Friday. Overall, pretty good week. Winners on silver, SPX, Qs, XP, Chewy, Microsoft, Meta, SPY. Did take a couple losses. I mean, if I take a loss on Tesla, okay, fine. If I take a loss on CAT, okay, fine. But overall for the week, pretty solid. Just off the all-time highs in the portfolio. So I've got a pretty good start to the year, up 124K. And I'm fine with that. This was up yesterday like 130, 132. So as long as it's pretty resilient, I've got some hedges out to March, and I'll just continue to grind and continue to trade. That is the MO. All right, 609.77. Let's go. Can't stop, won't stop. Get to these all-time highs. You might as well. We haven't hit 610 either. Just looking to see, like, market makers just stay out of the way. Let this be a little liquidity hunt. Maybe poke these all-time highs. Give us some Friday momentum. Market shows its resiliency once again. Crazy overreaction. Market spends the entire week pulling back and then closing above the gap from Friday. Pretty impressive stuff. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good Friday. Good weekend. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks for watching today's A1 Trading Show. We hope you enjoyed, and we're excited for a brand new year of trading with you. If you're new, consider subscribing for daily videos and live streams all year long. Be sure to check out the description below for our latest deals and offers. 2025 is just the beginning of our best year yet. We'll see you tomorrow.